Completing the square is the topic for today, and what we're going to do is write a quadratic in vertex form by completing the square. So this is something that is completely new, so I'm going to go a little bit slowly, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So our first problem is y equals x squared plus 8x plus 10. So first of all, why would we want to put it into vertex form or graphing form? Well, the main reason is it's way easier to graph, right? In standard form, we don't really know too much besides the fact that we can see the y-intercept is 10, and maybe we can factor it and find the intercepts, but in vertex form, we can see the vertex and the a value very easily. So those are the benefits. So when you complete the square, the first step is we want to get a new c value. So we are going to, you almost want to treat the y just like a 0. So we're going to say that this is x squared plus 8x equals, and I'm going to move that 10 to the other side of the equal sign. So now it becomes negative. Okay, so from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create just a blank for my new c value. But as you learn early on, when you do something to one side of an equation, you have to do the same thing to the other to keep it balanced. So because I'm going to add a new c value to one side, I have to do the same to the other. All right, so to get that new c value, we're actually going to use the box. So we've used the box to multiply, we've used the box to factor, and now we're going to use the box to complete the square. So I'm going to write the steps over here, but step 1 is to put first term in first box. So that should seem pretty familiar to us. So we're going to go ahead and set up the box. And I take the first term, which is x squared, and I put it in the first box. Step 2 is to split middle term in half and place in diagonal boxes. So 8x, if I split that in half, then I would get 4x and 4x. And the last step is to complete the square. And so I'm kind of combining a few steps in that, but I will explain it. That's why it's important you always watch the video and don't just look at the notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with the edges of the box. So I know that x times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x, and x times 4 is 4x. So we need that missing square. We're going to complete it. 4 times 4 is 16. So what I'm going to do is I take that number 16 and I place it in both of these equal signs. So I would have 16 and 16. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is factor the left side, but if you can see, we've actually already factored it, right? We have x plus 4 and x plus 4. So we end up getting x plus 4, because it's twice, we're going to write x plus 4 squared equals, and we have negative 10 plus 16, which would be 6. And then the last step is move everything to one side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take that 6 and move it over. So now we have x plus 4 squared minus 6. And I'm going to go ahead and say that this is y equals. And now we have our equation that we took from standard form, x squared plus 8x plus 10, and we put it in vertex form. So now we can find our vertex easily, which is -4, -6. So if I were to multiply out x plus 4 times x plus 4 and then subtract 6, I would end up getting x squared plus 8x plus 10. All we did was write it in a different way. Okay, so I know that first time it's probably confusing, so we're going to go ahead and do a few other ones. I think I called that problem 1, so I'll call this problem 2. Okay, so we have y equals x squared plus 20x plus 1. So remember, the whole idea of completing this square is to get a new c value. So the first thing that we're going to do is get rid of the c value that we currently have by moving it to the other side. So I moved it over. So because I move it over to the other side of the equal sign, I end up getting -1. Now I'm going to leave a space. So x squared plus 20x plus blank equals -1 plus blank. So the nice thing about this is it's going to be a very step-by-step process. So as long as you know those steps, it should be pretty simple. The next step is we create our box. And we take the first term, which is x squared, we place that in the first box. We take 20x, we split it in half, so we get 10x and 10x. And then from there, you come up with the edges. So we get x, x, x times 10 is 10x, x times 10 is 10x. Then you complete the square by saying 10 times 10 is 100. You take that 100 and you place it in the blanks. Okay, so then I factor x squared plus 20x plus 100, but we just did that. So our factors are x plus 10 squared. So just so you guys know, whenever you get to the factors, it's always going to be something squared because it's always something times something. So what we're doing is we're actually creating like a perfect square trinomial. Okay, then you get -1 plus 100, which is 99. And remember that last step is to move it back. So x plus 10 squared minus 99, and this is y equals. And so now we have it in vertex form. If I ask you to find the vertex, we could easily do that. Remember, it's the opposite of 10, so -10 and then -99. All right, we're going to try one more. So, not example. So for our last one, we have y equals x squared plus 6x plus 7. Okay, step 1, move that 7 over. So x squared plus 6x, and I'm going to move it over, and I get -7. Okay. Next step is I need to create a new c value. So I'm going to say plus blank equals -7 plus blank. Okay. To get that c value, that's when I create the box. So I take my first term and place it in the first box. I take 6x, I split it in half and place those in the diagonal boxes. And then I come up with the edges. So I get x times x. This is 3. This is 3. And then I multiply 3 times 3 to get 9. And I take that 9 and I place it in the blanks. So I get 9 and 9. Now I write my factors, which are x plus 3 squared equals -7 plus 9 is 2. And then I rewrite this all on one side by subtracting the 2. And I have my equation now in vertex or graphing form. And my vertex is -3, -2. So we will be spending one more day on this just because it's an important topic and it's kind of confusing. And we're going to actually teach you an alternative method if you don't like the box. So that's completing the square to put into vertex form.